Yes, Liverpool still top of the league, and quite comfortably so, as they play the last game of 2024. Not only top at Christmas, top at New Year's as well, and looking absolutely rampant again today. This is one of them games, look, the form is the form. West Ham are not having a good season. I don't really understand what they're trying to be, and I didn't understand going into the game, but I looked at it as objectively as possible, really, and could still see some great football players in that team. You know, Kudus, and you can see he has a bad game, but you can see he's a good player. We know Bowen's a good player. I know Paqueta's a good player. They've got good players. They should be better than they are, and they're at home. West Ham should have given us more problems than they did. But Liverpool were just absolutely unplayable. Some of it is down to the incompetence of how West Ham is set up. I don't see why you're going to play 5 at the back and play a sort of try and play a bit of a low block, but then leave loads of space in behind your defence. Is crazy to me. That's smacks of a manager who just really hasn't got a clear-cut identity, or the players aren't bought in, or whatever. But whatever. Liverpool were also sensational because we not just took our chances, but we created loads. So we were quite wasteful and still managed to run up 5 goals. Salah, just absolutely brilliant, an unbridled genius. You know, whatever happens with him, we are getting the best of Mohamed Salah, whether this is his last season or he signs an extension. Sensational stuff. He probably should have had a hat-trick. Gets a goal and a couple of assists on the day. Curtis Jones in for Szoboszlai. Great performance from him. In fact, the midfield was exceptional for Liverpool. McAllister, I think that was probably McAllister's best game of the season for us. Curtis Jones was great. Gravenberch was excellent. And they all got to do the best of what they do in the game. I thought McAllister ran the show, totally ran the midfield, but we got to see Gravenberch actually be a bit more expansive because of that. So McAllister at times could sit in a bit deep and free Gravenberch to go and express himself down the right wing or through the middle of the team. Curtis Jones really supported the attack very, very well indeed. Might have got on the end of a couple of others as well if passing a little bit better. Salah just played a bit of a bad ball to him in the second half, and maybe he could have added a goal in that regard. But the midfield 3 functioned spectacularly, and then look, goals from the starting 3 as well. There would have been a few people who questioned the selection. You know, Jota's fit. Jota's there, could well have been in the starting 11. Obviously, Darwin Núñez has been fit and available and playing games for us. But we went with Diaz, and that we might have hit upon that as our best front 3, which sounds like wonderful perfection until Jota comes on and causes all kinds of problems for West Ham as well. So yeah, that's looking really, really good. I thought Diaz was excellent. I thought Gakpo was brilliant, and yeah, Salah is just totally irrepressible in the form of his life. When, you know, this is the point where there's, you know, is he slowing down? He's getting towards, you know, he's coming into the twilight of the peak of his career theoretically, and yet what is he now? He's just a pure output merchant, and that's seen as like, you know, when someone says ... merchant, it's seen as like an insult. And I love the fact that just call it, if anyone says he's in anything, call him an output merchant. What's an output merchant? It's a guy who gets loads and loads of goals and assists. That's 8 consecutive seasons. He's got 20 goals in all comps for us. Superhuman level, you know, deserves to be spoken about alongside all of the greats to ever play for Liverpool. He's right up there with your Dalglishs and your Rushes and your Callagans. And, you know, of the players who have just achieved, and Gerrard, you know, legendary feats, legendary status for one of the legendary football clubs on earth. And Salah, yeah, absolutely right up there. Marvellous. Trent, I thought, was great at right back, because one thing that they had going for them was they had good, talented, pacey players in wide areas. They were set up, theoretically at least, to try and hurt us down the flanks, hurt us on the counter-attack, and Trent defensively was absolutely magnificent. And there's a moment in that game where we're dominating, it's 0-0, and you're a little worried that our pressure might, you know, we might get undone on the counter. Doesn't materialise. We go 1-up. Then Gomez goes off injured. That's a bit of a blow. Will that undercut what we're doing? Will it flatten the team a little bit? No, we get the second, we get the third. We're 3-0 up at half time, and everything's rosy. And then really, the game was in our hands. And we, you know, to be able to make substitutions on like the 56-minute mark, get some minutes in the legs for Diogo Jota in particular. It was a game where it looked like he just got all of his ring rust out. By the end of the game, he was looking really, really sharp. So yeah, great to see him involved as well. So yeah, it was just perfect. If you could pick a game off the back of, we've had a couple of tricky games in the build up to the Christmas period. December has been a harder month than any of the months up to this point. But it looks like we've ridden out that little sort of down period. And that down period was a couple of draws. Very reminiscent of 18-19 and 19-20. I wrote books for both of those seasons, going back through like the YouTube comments. And I not only did I live it at the time, but then I had to relive it at the end of the season. It was very similar then. People's heads were falling off. Oh, we thrown the Champions League away or a league title challenge away because we drew a couple of games. This feels very familiar. This feels like a Liverpool team that is primed to get better. As we start to play teams for the second time, will Arne Slot be able to flex his tactical, muscles even more? Will the team start to be able to put more 90-minute performances down? On the evidence of this, it bodes very, very well that they will indeed. Man of the match, I'm gonna give man of the match to Alexis McAllister. I thought he was sensational, and he doesn't have that. He's not an output merchant, so he doesn't have the goals and the assists to kind of show for it. But the way that he pulled the strings, both defensively and offensively for us, was just a joy to behold. But a big shout out actually to someone like Wataru Endo as well. We got asked the question a lot: what should Liverpool do in January? Who should they sign? Should they sign anyone? If you're going to sign a midfielder, he's got to be better than Wataru Endo. And I know stylistically that should be a relatively easy thing, but look at what he's capable of doing. I love Endo. I think he's great, and he might not be quite the right man in the right place at for this Arne Slot Liverpool side, but he is a benchmark for the minimum quality required to get into this Liverpool team. He would. He had a great season for us last year. He's been very useful in terms of a squad player for us this. So yeah, it's an interesting one. Anyway, look, that is the end of 2024 for Liverpool, top of the pile. If you're enjoying this season, drop a like on the video. That always helps. Let me know who your man of the match was in the comment section underneath. And if you want to help out Redmen TV, perfect time to join Redmen Plus. You can get Redmen Plus videos here on YouTube. You can get Redmen Plus podcast on Spotify by signing up for either of those. But if you want the full package, podcast, videos, and the archive of documentaries and features, go to redmenplus.com and sign up, because yeah, the Reds look very, very capable this year. I think we're in for a very, very special 2025. See you soon. Bye.